In the vast canvas of the night sky, the absence of stars can be both eerie and disorienting. To navigate without them is like journeying without a guide. Tonight, we venture into such a realm where the familiar constellations are absent, leaving our travelers at the mercy of an uncharted darkness. They had set out believing the sea would guide them home. Waves gentle at first, winds steady, nothing seemed wrong. But as night fell, clouds swallowed the moon. The water turned restless, as if it sensed what waited. Then came the storm. Their boat shattered against unseen rocks. Splintered wood, freezing water, desperate hands reaching for anything to stay afloat. Then, nothing. When they awoke, soaked and shaking, the world felt wrong. Above them stretched endless black. No stars, no moon, no light beyond the flicker of dying embers from their wreck. The air thick, heavy, holding its breath. They stumbled inland, calling out. No response, just shadows. Trees without leaves, branches twisted into shapes that seemed to watch. Each step felt swallowed by the ground, as if the earth itself wanted them still. Time blurred. Hunger gnawed at their strength. Thirst burned, but fear kept them moving. Where were the stars? Why did the sky stay empty, no matter how long night lasted? Even the air felt different, like breathing through cloth. But the terror wasn't just in the empty sky or the whispering trees. It was in the feeling of being watched, hunted. Every rustle, every snap echoed with menace. Their breaths quickened, eyes darting, searching for the source of the unseen menace. Then they saw it. A figure. Small at first, then closer. Eyes reflecting what little light there was, but no face. It stood, silent, watching. When they tried to speak, their voices seemed stolen by the air, lost in the suffocating stillness. Panic rose. They turned, tried to run, but the ground shifted beneath their feet, soft, pulling at their feet, like mud, like something deeper. And before they could scramble free, icy fingers of water closed around their legs, dragging them down. Struggling against the current, they fought to reach the surface. Gasping for air, they looked back. Only empty darkness met their gaze. Then silence again, heavier now, deeper, as if the night itself was listening, waiting. Trapped between land and sky that offered no guide, they realized this wasn't just a place without stars. It was a place not meant for them, a place forgotten or hidden. If their story chills your heart, don't scroll away. Smash that like button, drop your theory in the comments, and subscribe to Jungle Echoes, Rescue and Mystery. Some places the sea takes you were never on any map. As the night deepened, so did the chill. The absence of stars made the temperature plummet, turning the forest into a freezer of darkness. The fire, their only companion now, sputtered, casting dancing shadows that played tricks on their eyes. Fear, cold and hunger gnawed at them, making every rustle sound like footsteps, every snap like a threat. Then it happened. A twig snapped close by. They whirled around, adrenaline jolting them upright. But when they saw it was only a stray branch swayed by the wind, relief washed over them, bringing with it a wave of exhaustion. Collapsing onto the cold ground, they huddled close to the fire, seeking solace in its flickering light. Sleep, fitful and filled with nightmares, claimed them. They dreamt of endless dark, of eyes watching from the shadows, of icy fingers creeping towards them. The night stretched on, each moment colder, emptier, more hopeless than the last. The fire died, leaving them in a sea of blackness, alone, afraid, utterly alone. The next morning, when the sky finally yielded its darkness, they were left blinking, stunned by the sight that greeted them. It was as if someone had flipped a switch. The sun shone, clear and bright, painting the sky with hues of gold and rose. Birds sang, chirping a melody that mocked their fear-filled night. The trees, once menacing, now stood stoic and serene, their leaves rustling softly in the breeze. Disoriented and weak, they struggled to comprehend what had befallen them. The previous night had been so real, so terrifying, yet now it seemed like a bad dream, a nightmare from which they had woken. but the lingering chill and the memory of the endless dark told them it was real. Dazed, they started their journey back, following the faint trail left by their boat. Each step was a testament to their resilience, each breath a victory over the suffocating fear that threatened to engulf them. They moved like ghosts through the silent forest, their steps echoing in the vast emptiness that surrounded them. Hours passed. The forest thinned, revealing a landscape that seemed both familiar and strange. The sea lay before them, vast and shimmering under the unforgiving sun. But their boat was gone, vanished as if it had never been. Looking back at the forest, they saw only a wall of green, impenetrable and silent. There was no sign of their ordeal, no indication that what they had endured was anything but a figment of their imagination. As they descended into the chilling depths of despair, they realized the true horror of their fate. They were stranded, shipwrecked on a shore they didn't recognize, with no way to contact the outside world and no hope of rescue. Days turned into weeks. The relentless sun beat down, turning the earth into a furnace. Their clothes, once a shield against the elements, became rags. Their skin, once soft, was leathery and scarred from exposure. But it was the nights that were the worst. The nights when the stars refused to shine and the moon hid its face, leaving them in an abyss of darkness, tormented by the chilling silence and the haunting memories of the endless black. Hope, once a flickering flame, dwindled, threatened to be extinguished by the harsh realities of their situation. Every sunset brought a fresh wave of fear, every sunrise a grim reminder of their solitude. But even in the darkest depths of their despair, a tiny ember of hope refused to be snuffed out. It flickered within them, urging them not to give up, to keep going. What they found next brought tears to their eyes. A small cottage nestled amidst the trees. Hope surged anew. Could this be their salvation? The answer to their desperate prayers? Days turned into weeks and their hope began to fade. The relentless sun beat down and their bodies grew weaker. But it was the nights that were the most terrifying. The nights when the stars refused to shine and the moon hid its face, leaving them in an abyss of darkness, tormented by the chilling silence and haunting memories of the endless black. One evening, as the sun began its slow descent, they stumbled upon a sight that brought tears to their eyes. Through the trees, they saw the faint outline of a cottage. Hope surged anew. Could this be their salvation? The answer to their desperate prayers? As they approached, the sound of gentle music drifted from within, carrying with it the promise of warmth, safety, human contact. Was it real, or a cruel trick of their despairing minds? When they knocked on the door, the music stopped abruptly, replaced by an eerie silence. Would whoever lived inside help them, or were they destined to face another terrifying night alone? But when the door creaked open, revealing a dimly lit room and a kind, weathered face, their hearts soared with gratitude. Here in this humble abode, they found solace, food, and most importantly, a beacon of hope in their darkest hour. This wasn't any ordinary cottage. It was a sanctuary, a refuge from the horrors that awaited them in the starless night. And in the days that followed, it became their lifeline to sanity. The old woman who welcomed them in, with her gentle eyes and calming presence, was more than just a savior. She was a symbol of humanity, kindness and compassion in a world that had turned cold and uncaring. She fed them, clothed them, and most importantly, listened to their tale, offering words of comfort and understanding. For the first time since their ordeal began, they felt seen, heard, valued. The cottage became their anchor, keeping them grounded in reality, reminding them that despite the darkness they had faced, the light of humanity still shone brightly in the world. However, as the days turned into weeks, a question lingered in their minds. How long could they stay in this haven? Would the nightmare return when they left the cottage behind? And what would become of them then? One evening, as they sat around the table sharing stories of their past lives, the old woman spoke, her voice raspy but kind. She told them about the legend of the starless nights, tales passed down through generations, stories of those who ventured into the starless realm and never returned. According to the legend, There were places in the world where the sky emptied of stars, leaving travelers lost in an eternal night. It was a realm untouched by the divine, a void where time stood still and hope withered. Those who dared to enter were forever trapped, their souls consumed by the darkness. But the legend held another truth. Some who entered never emerged, but some who emerged were never the same. The endless black had a way of stripping people bare, exposing their true selves. It was a test of the soul, a trial by darkness. They looked at each other, realizing the truth in the old woman's words. The endless black had changed them, hardened them, made them wary. They had survived, but at what cost? The once vibrant souls were now shrouded in a layer of caution, their laughter replaced by silence, their smiles by wary glances. They thanked the old woman for her kindness, for giving them shelter and hope in their darkest hour. But as they prepared to leave, a part of them wished to stay in the comforting glow of her cottage, to remain in the realm of the living, even if it meant facing the horrors of the starless night. Stepping out of the cottage, they were greeted by the familiar sight of the endless forest. Before them lay the path back to the coast, a journey fraught with uncertainty and danger. They knew that the moment they disappeared from the old woman's sight, they would be on their own at the mercy of the unforgiving wilderness and their own fractured minds. They glanced back at the cottage, at the fading silhouette against the twilight sky. It represented not just shelter, but innocence, warmth, humanity. As they turned away, a part of them died, leaving behind a hollow ache that mirrored the emptiness of the starless sky above. With heavy hearts, they began their trek, each step echoing the struggle in their souls, each breath a silent prayer against the encroaching darkness. They were leaving behind the last vestige of hope, venturing back into the abyss where nightmares were born. But as they moved deeper into the woods, a strange phenomenon caught their attention. The trees began to thin, revealing glimpses of an indigo sky. Stars twinkled faintly in the distance, as if beckoning them forward. Could this be a sign of hope, a promise of rescue? Or was it a cruel trick of their desperate minds? Then, as if nature itself had orchestrated this moment, the clouds parted, revealing a sliver of moon. It cast an ethereal glow on the path ahead, illuminating their journey with a soft, otherworldly light. Was this a celestial guide, a beacon leading them out of the abyss? Or was it merely a figment of their collective imagination, born out of weeks of darkness and despair? This wasn't any ordinary moon. It was a silent witness to their ordeal, a celestial observer that had watched over them through their weeks of suffering. Its pale light carried a weight of empathy, understanding the torment they endured. As they continued their journey, the moon seemed to move with them, its light intensifying, guiding them deeper into the woods. Hope, a fragile butterfly, stirred within their chests, fluttering against the bars of their despair. Could this be the end of their nightmare? Were they truly being led out of the endless black? Each step forward, though painful, brought with it a sense of urgency, a desire to escape the clutches of the starless night. They moved as one, united by their shared ordeal and bound by a newfound determination. The moon, their silent guide, illuminated their path, promising an end to their torment. But as the forest grew darker and the moon's light faded, a new fear took hold. What if the moon was leading them into another trap, deeper into the heart of the starless realm? Would they emerge from the woods only to find themselves back in the desolate expanse of the endless black? The thought sent shivers down their spines, making them question everything they had endured, everything they hoped for. Were they truly on the brink of rescue, or were they merely pawns in a cosmic game? If their story chills your heart, don't scroll away. Smash that like button, drop your theory in the comments, and subscribe to Jungle Echoes, Rescue and Mystery. Some places the sea takes you were never on any map.